Okay, so I ended up interviewing with 4 different companies. 2 of them were companies that I reached out to, and 2 of them were companies that found me. I don't know if they found me through the Course Careers student portal or if they just found me through LinkedIn, but they reached out to me. And then there was a 5th company who I had an interview lined up with, but I ended up accepting my current job and didn't even waste their time. I told them I found where I'm at. I'm good. Um, but the process was pretty simple. Like I went through um each one was like multiple steps. One of the interview, 2 of the interviews I did, like I told you before, I knew I didn't want the jobs, honestly. And so I just did the first interview as like a practice thing to kind of, get my questions together I wanted to be asking. One of the companies, I was for sure I had the job. I knew it when I got off the phone with them. It was a company whose software was something that I had a background in. It was something I could see myself selling. You know what I mean? It was dope. The recruiter and the manager were like, "Yo, we like you. We're going to give you a call back next week." They tell you at the end to make sure that you have a set a date to talk with them at the for the follow up. Well, when it came time for the follow up, I didn't hear anything, and so I reached out, and they were like, "Oh no, the hiring manager is sick. She's out for a week or whatever. So everything's kind of frozen right now." But then I started seeing that name pop up on LinkedIn and somebody saying, "Hey, I just got a position at this company." You know what I mean? So I was like, "Oh, they played me." That's what happened. They played me. But it was cool. Like it ended up being, looking back on it, I'd much rather be where I'm at now. Right. And so my process with the company I'm at now, I met with the recruiter. Like I told you, a 15-minute conversation turned to 45 minutes. She was like, "I love you. I want to, we're definitely going to put you through to the next round." This was a Monday. So we're going to put you through to the next round. But
are you ready to level up your career this year? Well, you can do that in the next 30 to 60 days with CourseCareers. In technology sales, there are more than 300,000 open jobs. The average starting salary is going to be $60,000 to $80,000 a year. If you're making anything less than that, this is the perfect opportunity for you to grab this course, start working in tech sales. Also, digital marketing, okay? More than 200,000 open jobs here. Average starting salary, 40 to 60,000 a year. Transition your career into digital marketing, something more creative, maybe something more fun where you can be remote. The other course is the IT information technology course. If you're a little bit more technical, okay, you want to get into computers and learning infrastructure, learning networking. If you want to get to cybersecurity, this is a great start right here. They have set up for you resumes, how to fix your LinkedIn up. They are going to help you with interview prep questions for all 3 of these roles. Level up your career right now with CourseCareers. Let's go.
Welcome back to Stats and Assets. I'm Ernie Williams, Coach E. They call me. That's what they call me. Man, we got another dope podcast guest, CourseCareers graduate, alumni, Coach Dre. I'll call everybody Coach. Coach Dre, cut the tech is in the building, y'all. Yeah, thanks for coming by.
What's happening?
What's good? We good.
Yeah, man, all is good. Happy to be here.
Man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming by the podcast, and we're about to get into your story and anything that you wanna share with people that are trying to get into tech, have already been in tech as veterans. Yeah, anything that you want to talk about, we're gonna talk about. But let's really get into your story first. Oh. So for anybody that hasn't ran across your YouTube, don't know who you are, give a little bit of backstory for them. Introduce yourself, Coach Dre.
Well, I am Dre. I'm your. I always start off my videos by saying I'm your host, I'm your guide, but I'm your man, Dre. My wife, my mother, and my grandmother, they all call me Andre, but y'all can call me Dre. All right. And so, quick story about me and kind of like where I come from. I'll just start where I started with tech. I just broke into tech in April of this year. January, I started CourseCareers. I'm 40 years old, husband of one wife, and the father of 2 boys. Let me get that straight.
Okay.
I am not a husband of two. but what I guess what makes my story kind of unique was as I was breaking into tech, I'm in a different place in life. You know, I wasn't 18 years old trying to figure things out. I was a little different. You know, I was 40 years into the game and making a career pivot. And so at the time that I saw the idea of breaking into tech, I was working 2 full-time 40-hour-a-week jobs. At one of my jobs, I worked 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and then I worked overnight 10 4-hour shifts at an Amazon plant out here in Kansas City.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm from Kansas City, you know what I mean? So don't get it tangled or twisted. It's KC.
KC.
But yeah, I was working 2 full-time jobs, and then when I wasn't working at work, I was doing DoorDash on the side. You know, I was in a position where at that point in life, we had found ourselves where my wife had got the opportunity to go and do nursing school, but it was a like once in a lifetime type of accelerated program that she got accepted into, right? So it was like a 4-year experience in 1 year. So with her being on that fast track, it was like, you know, she can't work while she goes to school. So I had to pick up the slack for everything, you know, for the family.
Sure.
And so that led me to a place where I was working almost over 90 hours a week, getting no sleep, super stressed out. I'm just at a place in life where I feel like I should be further along than I am. My relationship with my wife is not going too well. My relationship with my kids is non-existent because I'm never at home. You know what I mean? I'm starting to become a shell of myself because I'm a creative person at heart. You know what I mean? I'm very ambitious and got drive, and I love to help other people. But I had just been through such a spot in life coming out the pandemic where things were just, I was at the worst part of my life. I'll be honest with you. This time last July, I had reached the absolute bottom, darkest place in my life. You know what I mean? And so one night when I was out driving doing DoorDash, I hadn't been asleep for 48 hours and I'm out still trying to make a couple more dollars. And I just had a mental breakdown and I just start screaming. Like I'm in the car and I start screaming. I'm yelling at God. I'm like, yo, what am I doing wrong, bro? Like I'm out here killing myself and people out here getting it. I'm just trying to provide for my family the way I want. You know, I would like to have some kind of peace but I just feel, you know, the scriptures say that I will never leave you or forsaken, but I felt left and forsaken at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was at that point that I had kind of decided to humble myself and ask a couple people around me, like, yo, what are some things I do well? I need to change, right? I'm somebody who's, I've run my own businesses in the past. People have seen me do numerous things, right? I'm the big brother in just about every circle I'm in. I'm the mentor. I'm the guy I'm like the rock of whatever group I'm a part of. And so they're usually the ones coming to me asking for advice. And so at this point, I had to humble myself and hit them up and say, hey, yo, what are some things I do well? You know what I mean? And so as they started to talk to me, they gave me a list of things that I did well. You're a natural leader. You're somebody that has integrity. We know that we can tell you something that don't go past you. You know what I mean? You're a good person that sells, fashion, you're creative. Like I got all these different things. And I was like, I'm not doing any of those things in my daily life. And I give 90 hours a week away. And I'm not doing none of that. So my prayer became like, God, show me a way that I could do something that fits my skill set so I don't feel like I'm just out here surviving. You know, I want to live. And about a week later, after that, I came across the video of AO and Cyrus on AO's show talking about tech and how Cyrus had broken the tech. And that changed everything for me. Like it was the first time I had felt like I know what I'm going to do. So I sent the video to my wife. I sent it to my pops, and I was like, "Yo, this is what I'm finna do. I'm finna go into tech," because it wasn't like I didn't work hard. Or I didn't want to work for whatever it was I was supposed to get. I told you I work 90 hours a week. Working hard wasn't a problem. I needed something where I could get to some money quick, though. Right? I needed a career change. I needed it fast. So I couldn't go to college and wait 3 years to see if something gonna pop off. I don't got that leeway. You know, I need money this week. You know what I mean? So when I saw that there was a boot camp, and when Cyrus was like, man, he went from no experience in tech to $350,000 in 6 months. I'm like, hey, yo, whoa, hold up. I was like, I looked at him like, yo, you ever seen Paid in Full? Like, it's one of my favorite movies. Remember when?
I haven't seen it. I don't think I've seen it. Who's in that?
It's Cameron, Mekhi Phifer, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but there's a scene on there where Cameron looks at Mitch and he said, "These 14 birds in that bag." Be like, he couldn't believe it that was possible, and that's how I felt watching Cyrus. I'm like, come on, yo, this is really they really out here getting it like this. And so I decided I'm going to jump into tech. So I was going to be a sales engineer. The problem was the boot camp that was for sales engineer was like $5,000. And I was like, I ain't got that kind of bread, bro. I'm broke. I'm broke. Mm-hmm. But as they were talking about CourseCareers and tech sales and how you could do that. And it was only like $500. And there was a dude on there. Well, there was a guy that was on a podcast with Cyrus. He said, I'm 19 years old. Took me 2 weeks to finish CourseCareers and went from no experience to $100,000 job. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I was like, I'm doing this. I put my money up. I gave myself a deadline. I was going to get this done in 2 weeks. That was kind of outlandish because I was working 90 hours a week. There's no way I was getting that done in 2 weeks. But it took me 3.5 weeks to finish CourseCareers and graduate. Side note from the story, I graduated CourseCareers the same day my wife graduated nursing school.
That's crazy. That's dope.
It was dope.
So say this again, though. 90 days, 90 hours a week, but you finished CourseCareers in 3.5 weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
I want people to hear that because some people are just working 40 or less than 40 and it's taking them longer to do CourseCareers.
Mm-hmm. And
right.
Yeah, I tell people in my class, I do a weekly coaching session with people. And my coaching session is always about mind frame. It's always about the mind frame. You hear people say in every area of life, what is your why? What are you doing? Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? One of my mentors told me years ago, he said, why is an acronym, WHY, what hurts you? Mm-hmm. And he said, if your why don't make you cry, it might not be deep enough. He was like, so you got to have a real reason and a passion why you're going to do this. And once you have that belief and that passion, nothing will stop you from getting it done. Right? Will there be obstacles? Absolutely. When I did CourseCareers, it had been 22 years since I had done anything that looked like school.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Right. But what did I have pushing me? One, I had the fact that, I'm tired of being in this position where I work all my life away and I still don't got enough to do what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even have enough at the end of the month to be comfortable in saying the rent is going to be on time.
Dre, really quick. I'm sorry. Talk about how does that feel to be in that moment? You're driving was it DoorDash or you're doing your Amazon and you're working. Your wife is in school. You got 2 sons and you're in that position, that feeling, that daily grind. How are you feeling? Like, what is going on in your head?
Yeah. I am not, it's not like a feeling of depression. I'm literally living through depression. Like, I don't sleep. I have a knot on the back of my neck that feels like it's going to burst out the back of my head at any moment, like from stress. Yeah. And I'm just constantly worried about what the next thing is. And so that stress is killing me. If you watch my YouTube videos, I started my first video in tech the day after I signed up for CourseCareers. If you look at my face, you can see how depressed I am. Like, my hair is thinning. I got big old round circles around my eyes. Like, I just look tired. You know what I mean? I was fed up. And so as a man, I'm feeling like a terrible father. I'm feeling like a terrible husband. I feel like a failure all the way around. I'm questioning myself. You know what I mean? I'm somebody that had businesses that I was running before and they were going well. I've been casting vision to my family and people around me, like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then just as it starts to take off, the pandemic hits and then back to ground zero. You know, so I'm in a very bad space mentally.
Yeah.
You know, and it feels like, it honestly feels like I'm stuck constantly running on a wheel and I can't get off of it.
Mhm.
And just that mental draining was it was bad. It was bad. It
Yeah.
was bad.
I understand. Talk about so you got Course Careers done in about 3.5 weeks. My question is how? Like how, with the 90 hours you're doing, in the mental state that you are in, right? Tell it, like, draw that that or paint the picture for us. Like, how are you doing it and when?
At this point, what I did was I immersed myself in everything tech sales. Any waking moment I had something playing in my ears. Right. So my car became Course Careers on wheels. Right. I love to listen to music. No music I'm listening to right now. I'm listening to the content. I'm learning.
Yeah.
If I don't hear Trent Dressel's voice in my ear telling me how to be an SDR through Course Careers, I'm on YouTube with Trent, other people who have graduated Course Careers, Cyrus, people from anybody that's in tech. I'm putting myself in position to where I'm starting to train myself to think, all right, Dre, you're not trying to be an SDR. You're not trying to be in tech sales. You are. Right. I knew that if I consume the information fast enough, I'll eventually get to where I want to be. Right. And so every waking moment, I need more information. I already don't sleep. So what's the point? I need to get this done. Right. And then every time that I got tired or I came to an obstacle where I felt like, I don't know if I can do this. When I started Course Careers, the day I signed up, my 15-year-old son was next to me. And I told him, I said, yo, I'm doing this tomorrow. I'm signing up for this tomorrow. And I'm going to get this done. And he looked at me like, okay. And so anytime I came up against a moment where I felt like I couldn't get it done, I thought to myself, my son will see me succeed or he will see me die trying. He will never see me quit. I will die before I let my boys see me quit something. Right. And so that was that thing that kept pushing me through whenever I needed to get through. Right.
Why is that important? Why is that important to you?
To me?
Yeah.
Because to me, outside of my relationship with God, I feel like the highest callings that I have outside of being a child of God is being a husband and being a father. And as a father, I am the example of what my boys will be like when they grow up. Right. And I know both of my boys, they watch me like a hawk. Like they do everything that I do. And so I'm more of a teacher by example. I lead by example. I don't just talk about doing stuff. Everybody I know around me knows if Dre say something about doing something, he's telling you something he's done or he's doing. Right. And so as I'm going through this, my whole mind frame is I've got to show these boys what it looks like to be a man and to get something done. As a man, you say you're gonna get something done, you get it done. Right? You say you're going to do this to provide for the family, you do that. Right? And so it was important to me that my boys see the example of me completing that mission. Right? And not only that, but it came with freedom because I hadn't had time. Right? I was out trying to get to the money all the time and I was missing stuff at the house. You know what I mean? I'm missing football practices, basketball practices. I'm missing birthday parties. I'm at work when something else is going on. And we justify that and said, well, at least I'm bringing in the money. Well, shoot, I didn't have the money either. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we had money just sitting in the bank account. At this point, it felt like, man, I'm just spinning my wheels for no reason. Mm-hmm. Right. And so now we'll probably get into what it looks like now, but just to give a preview, I had a conversation with my sons the other day and I asked them, I said, what do y'all like most about where we are now as a family? And both of them said at the same time, Dad, we like having you around more.
How did that feel?
It felt amazing because that had been my prayer all the time. Like God, I feel like I'm missing my family. I feel like I'm missing. But there was one scripture that kept reaching out, kept coming back to me. It said that God will give back the years that the locust stole from you. And so I just kept that in the back of my mind, like, all right, but years are going by. Years are going by. I looked up and one of my oldest son, he tall as me, he got fake hair and stuff growing everywhere. I'm like, yo, when did this happen? It happened while I was at work. You know what I mean? And so now being able to be home with them and to really be engaged with their life, it's like the best feeling in the world.
If you want to break into cybersecurity in the next 30 to 90 days, you need to do it with Level D Careers Cybersecurity Professional course. There's a free intro course for you to try out to see if this would be a good fit for you. The jobs are in high demand, you guys. Okay, there's job security. There's a competitive salary, right? Work variety. If you will be able to convey your skills, you'll be able to apply and get jobs like a SOC analyst, an information security analyst, threat hunters. You will be doing incident response in the Azure cloud platform. Okay, that is very, very important. A lot of businesses use Azure to protect their organization. Josh Maddocker is an incredible instructor, very, very knowledgeable. You'll get $50 off with my 10% off code, EARNIE10, EARNIE 10. Use that code. Start it now. Start immediately.
Oh man, it sounds like it. It sounds like it. Great story. Like great story background already. I want to go back. You said you were searching kind of for something to you asked some family members or friends to, what did I do? What is it that I do great that you see? I want to know who did you ask specifically and why?
Well, I asked my wife first because she's the closest person to me.
Yeah.
I asked one of my brothers. I asked one of my closest cousins. I asked people that I've done business with. I've asked people who I know who are successful in business. I asked people who I knew they would give me a real answer. And what led me to asking that question was, of all places, I was listening to a podcast that had nothing to do with business, honestly. And one of the guys on there, he had started talking about real estate. And real estate is like what he does. And as he started talking about it, like you could hear the room shift. It was like everybody was just listening. Like he was just going, and it was like he was operating on a whole different level because he was operating in what was his gift, right? And then when he got done talking, one of the people said, yo, why don't you start a podcast just talking about that? And he looked at the whole room and was like, huh? What do you mean? And it hit me. He has a superpower that comes so naturally to him, he don't even realize it's a superpower. And I believe every last one of us has one of those. I believe God gave every last one of us something that we just naturally do great or extremely well. And everybody around us can see it, but we have a hard time seeing it because it comes so natural to us. Right?
That's right.
And so that was when I was like, I need to find out what it is I do well. And I called about 12 people, and anything that I kept getting repeatedly, I put at the top of the list. Because I'm like, all right, that means everybody around me sees it. It's not just a few people, but everybody sees it. I just don't see it in myself because it comes so natural. And so that was kind of my mind frame behind asking that question to those people. And that, man, doing that exercise changed my life. It changed my life.
Had you done that before?
No, I had never done that before.
Okay.
Nope. I would just, I'm a doer. I'm gonna get out and go do it. But I'm somebody that's like a sponge. Like I love to learn. I don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the richest person in the room. I want to be in a room where I can grow, where people can challenge me to grow. Right? But in a lot of circles, when you become the big brother, you know what I mean, type of feeling, you kind of look around and be like, all right, well, where are the people that are the big brother to me? Right?
How do I grow?
Right. How do I grow? And so you gotta kind of go and either go externally or learn something from the people that are around you that they don't necessarily teach you, but you have to seek it out. That makes sense.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I like that. I like the superpower talk. I love it. And I agree. I agree. Everybody has some type of gift or talent that comes really, really natural to them. And you're lucky if you have honed into it and you hone that craft or that skill. And then some of us still are trying to figure that out. And do we do it right? But it's just like you said, it's so natural. You don't feel like that's your thing. That's your superpower. And
you don't take the time to hone it because you don't realize that it's something special.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a big key.
Dre,
for you, what's the difference between living and then surviving? You mentioned that earlier.
The difference between living and surviving is feeling like you're at a place of abundance. Have an abundance of internal joy, right? Peace. Having peace. Like, money can't buy you happiness. Money can't buy you peace. I'll take that back. Money can't buy you joy. Money can buy you happiness because happiness is temporary, right? Okay. It's fleeting.
Yeah.
Joy is something that you have regardless of what's going on around you, right? Same thing with peace. Money can't buy peace. If you're not at peace within, then you just won't have peace. But can money help you with taking care of things around you that cause you to not be peaceful at times? Absolutely. Right? So if you've got the money to pay your bills every month, if you got the money to be on auto pay every month, you got a different level of financial peace than the person who's trying to figure out how to pay it before they come take it.
Sure.
Right. and so that was what I wanted, man. I wanted that peace. I wanted that mind frame where I could say, you know what? I don't have to worry about my bills being taken care of. Right? My baseline things being taken care of. And for me, there's a whole nother rabbit hole we'll go down if I go down that path of what I learned during that phase. But that's for another topic. Another day, another topic.
Another day? Okay. Well, let's get into it. So let's get into your course careers path and get to your role. I just want to know, before we get started, I ask everybody this. When you saw that Course Careers was $500 one time, or what is it, 4 or 5 payments of $150? How did that make you feel? Like, what were you thinking? Were you like, it's a bet, let's go? Or is it like, is this one of those real cheap things that's not gonna work?
Nah, I had saw enough people succeeding and success stories through it that 500 was nothing. I'm also somebody that believes in you have to invest in yourself. One of my mentors told me when I was younger, he said, if you empty your wallet into your brain will fill up your wallet. Like, you spend money. I spent $450 on sneakers before. I don't even have them shoes no more. You know what I mean? So $450 for a career change. Like, I tell people this all the time. I spent $450 that changed my life in a matter of months. Right? And the hard part about it is us. We skeptical by nature. Right?
Yeah.
So you have to see people win before you be like, all right, I really think it's going to work. I'm one of them people that's quick to jump out there first and see, like, I'm going to make it win, and then I'm going to come back and tell y'all about it. I don't mind taking that risk at times. Yeah. Right? I do it calculated because I have a wife and I have kids I have to worry about. Right?
Sure.
But at the same time, I'm still a risk taker at heart. So when I see 500, I was like, oh, that's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. I said $500. Worst case, what do I do? Learn a couple of skills that I might be able to use on my resume later on?
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't like I was giving away 5,000. Even 5,000 wasn't nothing. Like, these people are leaving out of these programs and coming out and making, let's just say as an SDR, the average income coming out of there is $70,000 a year. Base pay. You making up to $100,000 up to 6 figures in it. If I spend $5,000 to be a SE, and them dudes is coming out the gate making $100,000, What are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so
you gotta see the big picture all the way through.
Yeah, you have to think with the mind frame of abundance at times. You can't think with a mind frame of lack. You know, it's what is the value that you're going to get out of this that you spend? We're going to spend something regardless. You're going to spend money on something, right? And so am I going to spend it on something that's going to be an investment for my future, or am I going to spend it on something that's not? And you also talking to somebody whose wife just went through nursing school, and that ain't cheap at all. Yeah. Right? and so 500 was like, man, I'm doing this.
Right. Compared to nursing school, huh?
You hear me?
That's nothing. We got that.
You hear me? I'm not tripping off 500 at all.
So what's next? Okay, it took you about 3.5 weeks to go through the content, right?
Yeah.
What's next? So you start to put in applications, or you fixed up your resume, your LinkedIn. Were you working through that stuff as you're doing the content? Tell me about the I guess organization, the scheduling of what you were doing.
So what I did was I went through the content completely before I started doing anything like trying to look for jobs and stuff like that.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was talking about. Right. I wanted to focus in and get the job done. Because, like I said, it had been 22 years since I'd done anything to look like school. So part of the reason why it took me a little longer than 2 weeks is because I would get through certain parts of the course and I'd be like, I don't know that yet. Let me go back. Right. I go back. And my mind frame learning, because I'm naturally a coach and a teacher that's just naturally in me. My mind frame to learning things is I learn it as if I'm going to have to teach it. Mm-hmm. So I listen differently. Yeah, I listen differently. I'm not listening like I'm just trying to pass a class. I'm listening like I'm going to have to teach it to somebody at some point. And so I'm focused in on the content until I finished it. Then once I finished it, I was like, all right, let's go get the job. But at that time, I was still working 2 full-time jobs. Right. So it was just like, fishing with, I was fishing with a bomb, right? I was throwing a bomb in the ocean, in the lake, letting it blow up and seeing what fish I could catch, right? Rather than meticulously going and be like, nah, I know these fish are right over here and honing in on something. Mm-hmm. But what happened was a blessing in disguise, because in the midst of me trying to find a job, my job laid me off. Right. I came to work, my main job.
Okay.
Right. I came to work one day, we all sitting there working, and they just came and laid the whole division off in the middle of the day. Like no warning, no nothing.
What?
Right. But the beautiful thing about that was I got laid off from my job the week my wife started her first nursing job. Okay. So she was like, hey, take your time. You don't have the pressure to try to get this all taken care of. Go find a job you want. And so from there, I was able to kind of hone in, and that 8 to 5 that I was working during the day at my job, that became my hours to find a job.
Nice.
Right. And so I just went to work, started doing the work of an SDR to get the work of an SDR. I went to work and I landed my position the end of April. Yep.
Man. Tell me how what you were thinking and how you felt when, I mean, you got laid off, but which is, not the best feeling, not the best thing. But on the flip side of that, what happened? There was another opportunity that was kind of dropped in your lap. You had time now to apply to jobs, take your time, do research if you needed to. And instead of fishing with the bomb, you had your hook and you had your bait.
I could get meticulous. I could get surgical with this thing.
Yeah.
And so that felt great. Like it was, by this time, my mind frame had already started changing. Remember I told you when I first started looking into tech, I was in the worst place ever in my life. Mm-hmm. Well, I started to come out of that through a bunch of different things that were going on in my life. It was just like God was moving me from that place of darkness into what would be like, oh, this is dope. You know what I mean? I started to see hope. And like one thing that's for sure, there's a saying that says hope deferred makes the heart sick. When you don't have hope, it leads to like just depression. When I started CourseCareers and I had a focus on where I was going, I had hope again. Like I could see a finish line. It's just if I can get through a couple more of these things, I'll be good. So by the time I got to the point where my job laid me off, it was more like a freedom. Right. There was of course, there's a natural like hesitancy, like, oh man, what are we gonna do? But also with the timing of everything, it was like things were starting to align. I told you, I graduated the same day my wife graduated nursing school. It wasn't like there was no gap. It was like everything was being taken care of and laid out for me. So now I'm able to approach it with a little bit of a different mind frame. Rather than being in desperation mode and trying to get something, I could go get what I want. Right. And I'll give an example. This is one of my favorite examples. My mentor used to tell me about. He said, if you're going to be in sales or anything you do in life, you have to have what's called posture, or we call it swagger, or you got to have some, that thing that makes you him. Mm-hmm. Right. And so he gave this example. He was like, say there's a lady, right? Group of ladies. They out partying. It's girls' night out. Right. And girl A, she went and got the flyest shoes she could find. She been holding on to them for 6 months before she go out. She goes out. She the flyest she ever been. She with her girl. Dude walks in the club. She sees him from across the room. He sees her. They catch eye contact. She thinks he's attractive. He thinks she's attractive. But he instantly sees her and he darts straight over to her, runs over to her, falls on his knees and just start groveling. Oh my God, you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, do you speak? Let me hear your voice. What do you think she's thinking about him? This is the corniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Who is this?
This is so unattractive, right? Yeah. He said, same scenario though. Dude walks in the club, he sees her, she sees him, he play it off like he don't see her, right? He goes, makes his round, say what's up to everybody in the club, whatever. He walks over to her, she's sitting at the bar. He comes right, stands right next to her, orders his drink, act like he don't see her, still playing cool. He gets his drink, kind of turns around, and he finally acknowledges her. He looks over at her, he sees her and says, hey, you have something going if it wasn't for them shoes, and then he just walk off.
Drop mic.
Now he's a jerk, right? But what just happened? For the rest of the night, what's going to happen? Her and her girl's going to talk about him. And when he come back later in the night and be like, yo, I was just playing. Like, I was joking. I'm such and such, yada, yada. He in there. Mm-hmm. He said, that's called posture. Most people go into job interviews or a job search like the first person. Pick me. I need a job. Please pick me. My bills is piling up. I need a job. I need it now. Like, I'll work anywhere.
Yes.
That's not attractive to somebody that's trying to hire you. Right? You want to look attractive on paper. You want to look attractive in the interview. But when you come in, you also want to come in with a confidence that feels like, I'm not just here because I need y'all to give me money. I'm here to be a part of the team. I'm here to dominate. What y'all trying to do? Right? And so that's what CourseCareers gave me, was it gave me the understanding of how to be a SDR specifically. So by the time I start searching for jobs, I wasn't putting on my LinkedIn aspiring SDR, trying to be an SDR. To me, those things scream will work for food, right?
Yeah.
I'm on my LinkedIn like, yo, I am. This is what I do. I am an SDR, right? And when I went into my interviews, I carried that same energy. Not that I'm better than nobody else, but I know I bring something to the table, right? And I'm super confident in my ability. And so, walking that thin line, what my mentors told me, he said the difference between being arrogant and being confident is this. When you're arrogant, you think you're better than somebody else. But when you're confident, you just know that God didn't make nobody else better than you. So Ernie, you dope. You super dope at what you do, right? When you do you are amazing at it. But you're not better at doing you than I am at being me. Mm-hmm. I'm the best in the world at being me. I'm the best in the history of the world at being me. Right? Yeah, when it comes to being me, I'm him. And the only time I'm not walking and operating like that is when I'm trying to be something I'm not.
Right.
As dope as you are, if I try to be you, it's gonna come across corny.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't try to be nobody else. I'm be me. I'm Dre. I'm 100% Dre all the time, all day, every day. That's who I am.
And that goes back to tapping into your superpower. And not
Exactly.
even the exact skill, but your superpower as a confidence, knowing that nobody does you better than you.
Nobody.
Right? Nobody's better than you. You're not better than anybody else, but you are unique.
You might be more talented than me at some things, and that's totally fine. But even when it comes to talent, hard work will beat talent if talent don't work hard.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So another one of my superpowers, I'm going out. If you're better than me talent-wise, I'm just going to try to outwork you. Mm-hmm. If you're better than me talent-wise and you outwork me, then you win. You got it. You know what I mean? But if we go out here and we shoot basketball right now, we say, look, it's $200 up. Whoever hits 10 shots first gets $200. You shoot 50% from the field, but I shoot 10% from the field. If I shoot 100 shots before you shoot 20, I'm going to win.
Thanks for watching the podcast. Put your comments below. Put your questions below. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of the content I'm putting down here. And let me know in the comments down below, what type of content do you guys want to see, okay? Also, if you're a student athlete and you're trying to figure out how to be a better communicator, how to be a leader, if you're in business, you're trying to be a better leader for your company, or if you are trying to go into a new career, new role, I highly suggest that you book a flight assessment, a session with me. So you'll take the flight assessment and I'll coach you for an hour on what your behavioral preferences are. So what you're going to learn is what type of environment is best for you, what's your coaching style, what's your learning style, also what is your communication style, and if you want to be a better leader, you have to understand how to communicate to other people, and so you're going to have to understand other behavioral profiles. Book a flight assessment coaching call with me. You'll take the flight assessment and I'll coach you for an hour, and we will get down to how we can get you to your next goal.
Right? Mm-hmm. So even then things even out to make it competitive across the board. So you can't just be confident in the fact of who you are. You still got to sharpen that. I'm good at what I do. I got to get better at it every day.
For sure.
So
y'all need to rewind this. Y'all need to rewind this and let Coach Dre talk some sense into you, some superpower, some confidence into you. For real, y'all need to watch this before you go into your interview.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, watch. People gonna watch it before they go into the interview. Get pumped up, get ready to go. And I love what you said about posture and swagger and coming off very confident. Like, not choose me, but this is why you should.
Yeah, I'm here to bring.
This is why you should.
I tell people when you go on your interview, when you go through CourseCareers, part of the thing they tell you to do is have questions.
Yes.
That is so crucial when you go into an interview process. Because you gotta look at think of it like this, right? At the end of the day, if you do an interview and they like you, they're going to send you an offer letter. You have the last say. No work gets done unless you sign the offer letter. Mm-hmm. So that means you have some kind of leverage going into it. You bring something to the table. So I look at every interview like it's a date. Right? I know what I bring to the table. What do you bring to the table? Because at the end of the day, I might not want to work for your company.
Right.
I got options. I got options out here. There's 1,000,001 jobs out here. Right? Somebody gonna want me. Mm-hmm. But there's only one me. Right? Mm-hmm. So if we go in this interview process and you like me, and you decide, you go back to your people and say, hey, we want to send that guy an offer letter. That means I did something to wow you. I brought something to the table that made you say, I want that person on my team. Over all these other hundreds of applicants, you chose that you wanted to be with me. So now it's on my court. Do I want to be with you?
Yeah. And I think I'm so glad you brought that up, that mindset and that mind frame. Because, being entry level, trying to change our financial status, we just want a job, right? Mm-hmm. And so we forget that exchange. I have to have questions and I have to ask them. I gotta be like, I'm dating you, this is a date. Are y'all good for me? in my next 9 months, my next 12 months, where I'm trying to be. You need to lay it out to me. There needs to be a stake on the end of the fishing hook. What's my promotion? Because I'm coming in blazing.
You hear me? I just left a toxic relationship. I was at this place giving them 80 hours a week, and they just came and laid me off without a forewarning.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I just left a toxic relationship. I'm not going to jump back in another one just because you got some money for me.
Yeah.
What we here for?
I need to know. Listen, you come to the first date. I need to know your credit score, how much your finances like. Y'all need to tell me everything. I'm not doing this again.
You hear me? You hear me?
Whoa, that was so good. That's so good. So let's get into your interview process. Can you, since we're on questions, like what questions were you asking when it came time for questions? Like what specifically were you looking for out of a company?
Well, me personally, one thing I want to do is I wanted to make sure that I picked a company that had what I wanted, right? Things I was looking for. I was looking for a company that had the pay that I wanted, a specific pay. I wasn't even applying to jobs that wasn't paying that much. I wasn't. Right. When I did get interviewed, like people who would reach out to me, recruiters and stuff like that, that reached out to me, and they, you know, I knew that the pay wasn't gonna be what I wanted. I would take the interviews just to be practiced.
Okay.
Right. Okay. But I knew I wasn't gonna take those jobs. Unless we was gonna negotiate more than that, we wasn't doing no business. I knew I wanted to work remote. Right. I didn't want to go into an office. I wanted to be able to work wherever there's Wi-Fi. Right. So if I want to go work at the pool, I can. That's what I want to do.
Right.
I kept hearing everybody talk about how some of their companies had unlimited PTO. I wanted that. I needed them kind of benefits. Right. And so these things that I was, as I was studying what tech brought with it, I was looking for specific companies that I wanted to work, type of companies I wanted to work with. And then I just honed in on those particular things. And then when it came time to do the interview, I would ask specific questions as if I was joining the team. Right. So I would do my research. I found out, you know, who it was that was going to be interviewing me. And I went and I did my research on them. And I had conversations with them. So one company interviewed me and I'm like, hey, I saw from your LinkedIn that you just got this position about a month ago. Right. So when you got this position a month ago, it seems like you're in a position where you're kind of building a new team under your umbrella and your identity. Like, what are some things that the team is missing right now that you're looking for in an SDR? Right. So I'm having these kind of conversations with them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, hey, when I come in the door, like I want to hit the ground running. So like, what are some things I should be doing right now? Are there any books or anything I should be reading before I start so that when I come in, I can come in at where all my colleagues are at? Right. I'm asking these type of questions. Hey, I noticed you just got here a month ago. What do you like about the company? What's different about this company than the last company you worked at? What's the future of the company? What does this team have to do with the company's future? Like, where are we going to go? Right. And so I'm having that kind of conversation with them. You know, where do you see yourself growing in this company? I'm asking the manager where they plan to be in 5 years at the company.
so they on the interview. So they on the interview now.
Yeah.
They on the interview, right?
Yeah.
Y'all better watch it. Y'all better write these questions down. These are great questions.
And I made it conversational.
Yes.
With the company I'm at now, when the recruiter called me, she was like, this will be a 15-minute conversation. We'll talk. And so we just start talking. And we got to a point where she looked up, she was like, oh my God, we've been talking for 45 minutes. We've been talking for 45 minutes. This is such a great conversation. Like, I just love how fluid the conversation was. But that's because I had questions ready. I knew what I was looking for. So she would ask me a question. I'd ask her a question that followed up off that question. And it became like a conversation. Just like I'm talking to you right now is how I talk to the recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
And again, what am I doing? I'm being myself. Right? I'm not putting on my pick-me voice. You know, I'm putting on my, hey, I'm Dre. You either want me or you don't. That's just the way it is. I'm going to be professional with everything I do, but I'm also going to be me.
So we were talking about interviews and questions. So take us through the interview process. How many did you choose? How many companies did you choose to interview with? And like how many, I guess, interviews was it for one company? Yeah.
Okay, so I ended up interviewing with 4 different companies. 2 of them were companies that I reached out to, and 2 of them were companies that found me. I don't know if they found me through the CourseCareers student portal or if they just found me through LinkedIn, but they reached out to me. And then there was a 5th company who I had an interview lined up with, but I ended up accepting my current job and didn't even waste their time. I told them I found where I'm at, I'm good. But the process was pretty simple. Like I went through each one was like multiple steps. 2 of the interviews I did, like I told you before, I knew I didn't want the jobs, honestly. And so I just did the first interview as like a practice thing to kind of, get my questions together I wanted to be asking. One of the companies, I was for sure I had the job. I knew it when I got off the phone with them. It was a company whose software was something that I had a background in. It was something I could see myself selling. You know what I mean? It was dope. The recruiter and the manager were like, "Yo, we like you. We're going to give you a call back next week." They tell you at the end to make sure that you have a set a date to talk with them at the end, for the follow up. Well, when it came time for the follow up, I didn't hear anything, and so I reached out, and they were like, "Oh no, the hiring manager is sick. She's out for a week or whatever. So everything is kind of frozen right now." But then I started seeing that name pop up on LinkedIn and somebody saying, "Hey, I just got a position at this company." You know what I mean? So I was like, "Oh, they played me." That's what happened. They played me. But it was cool. Like it ended up being, looking back on it, I'd much rather be where I'm at now. Right. And so my process with the company I'm at now, I met with the recruiter. Like I told you, a 15-minute conversation turned to 45 minutes. She was like, "I love you. I want to, we're definitely going to put you through to the next round." This was a Monday. So we're going to put you through to the next round, but we're sending out offer letters for the next round on Friday. So I got to get you in to meet with the managers sometime between now and then. And so I had round 2 a couple days later, and my second round interview was an hour and a half long. It was 3 20-minute sessions with managers, and then there was a 30-minute session with 2 senior SDRs. So
wow.
And so that hour and a half felt like it went by in 15 minutes because it was just like conversation. Like I knew by the time I got done with that interview, I knew for sure I had the job because I talked like when I talked to all the people there, it felt like I was just talking to family. Like, right. And so, like it was great. The laughs were genuine. The conversation was genuine. It just felt like a perfect fit. And when I got done, I reached back out to the recruiter and I said, "I thank you so much for putting me through. I really look forward to getting a letter on Friday." Like it went that well. And so she was like, great. She sent me back, was like, "Great." Friday, she called me and she was like, "Hey, you thought it went well? They liked you even more than I think you did." I think you thought. She was like, I even made them follow your YouTube channel and watch some of your videos so that they could know who you were and get some more of your personality. And so they ended up, she was like, they loved you. Like they liked Dre. Like, and so they wanted to invite Dre to be a part of the team here. And the beautiful thing about that was because that's how I got the job, I don't have to worry about imposter syndrome or trying to be somebody else when I'm at the job. Right? I'm able to be me 100% all day, every day, because that's what they hired me for. Right? Exactly. And it was great. Like the pay was great, and they loved the fact that I was so family oriented. They have really taken care of me since I've been there. It's been great. They even flew me up. Like my company's not in my city. They flew me out there for a couple of days. I said, "I'm getting flued out like an IG baddie? What's happening right here? It feels good."
Not an IG baddie. Yeah,
So
I love that. I love that.
It's been fun, man. It's been absolutely fun. The last couple months have been great. It's been great.
That's awesome. So, any negotiation tips for people when they get to that part of the journey in the interview process? Did you have to negotiate, or did you feel like
I didn't. At this point, that's something that I was planning for, but it was one of the things I gave up when it came time for the company I wanted. Right. So part of me wishes that I would have done it more so I could train more on it. But as of right now, I say find somebody on LinkedIn who's a professional at helping you to negotiate what you're looking for, especially in tech, because you definitely can. Right. And so, but I didn't. It was something I chose not to do on this go around. But it's definitely something I've been studying for, so that if future things pop up, I know what to do.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to navigate that on the next round.
Oh yeah.
So all right, y'all, follow Coach Dre at on YouTube at Cut the Tech. Coach, talk to us a little bit about some of the content that you are creating right now. What do you talk about on your channel?
Well, my entire channel was created to be a kind of like inside baseball walk with me through breaking into tech. Right. So I didn't start my Cut the Tech channel until the day after I signed up for my boot camp. Right. And the only reason, to be honest with you, the only reason I did it is because, like I told you before, I'm like the big brother of the group. Right. I've got two really good close friends of mine who we had all been talking about wanting to be somewhere different by this time next year. Right. And so when I was like, I'm going into tech, I was like, I know I'm gonna have to go do it first and then give them a blueprint for them to follow. And so I started just documenting my journey as I was going along, so that they could see it being documented also, so that they could feel like, all right, I know where to put my feet to walk this same walk, so we can get to where we are. Right. And so that's what it started off as. And I had no idea it was going to turn into what it has. Like, it's turned into me coaching. It's turned into me creating content for not just my own channel, but for the CourseCareers channel. It's turned into so many different things, so many different opportunities, in ways for me to be able to showcase my art. I'm an artistic person from through and through. Whether I'm doing music, whether I'm creating through fashion, whether I'm creating through writing or something, like, I have to create. Like, that's one of God's attributes that He gave me as a creator. I'm a creator, right? And I love doing it. And so now being in a place where I can actually get paid for creating is crazy to me. It's great. Right. So I'm loving it. I'm loving where we are. It
is great. And I want to touch on that just a little bit before we wrap it up. The fact that your maybe hiring manager said to the other SDRs, the account, the other SDRs to go learn more about you on your YouTube channel, right?
No, she said that to the manager. She was my recruiter.
The manager.
She said that to the manager.
The recruiter.
Yeah.
Dope. So in my head, I'm like, okay, YouTube or creating and having a channel, right, can open you up to opportunities, right? So it was just a small thing that the recruiter said, hey, go check them out. It's worth checking them out. He or she obviously saw you had a YouTube channel, probably checked you out. It was like, he can sell himself, right? You can sell yourself on whatever it is, SDR, IT, whatever you're doing. You can sell yourself by showing your journey, showing how hard you're working, showing the process. People just want to know that you'll work hard and what you've been through to get to where you are. That always makes you look good.
Yeah. And I also think that sharing your story is a superpower.
Yep.
Because nobody else can live like you, but nobody can tell your story like you can tell it either. Right. And when you tell your story, it comes from a genuine place, and people can see the how genuine it is. Right. And so because my channel was a journey of me going from the dude who was working 2 jobs to taking CourseCareers, to graduating CourseCareers, to this is what the CourseCareers studies was like, to this is what my interview process has been like. This is what I'm learning. Like all I was doing was just documenting as I was going. I wasn't trying to teach something I didn't know. I was just teaching you what I had just been through or recapping what I had just been through. I wasn't even teaching. I was just recapping, right? And I guess through that, she was able to see, oh, this is the work he's put in to get to this position. And from there, I guess they liked it.
Got it. Just talk to that guy or girl, woman or man that was in your position. You know, you're working 90 hours, or you're just trying to find something that's going to change your financial situation for yourself, for your family, and just to have an opportunity to do something different. Talk to these people that are looking but not jumping on the opportunity. What do they need to know?
This is what I'll say. If you're somebody who's looking for opportunity and you're really desperately seeking for opportunity, you're asking for wisdom and how to for an opportunity to come along, you can't then be the person who questions every opportunity. Right? Like it's just not the way that it works. Right? If you're desperate enough for something, if you're hungry enough, you know, people, you see people out here who are unfortunate or you know, they're in positions where they don't have food at home. They're gonna eat out of a trash can. That's desperation. You know what I mean? And when you get to a place where you just hit desperation, like I have to get something different done, you start to looking at things differently. Right. And so I'll end it with this. I tell this story all the time on my calls. There's a guy, he had a brother. His brother lived in the middle of nowhere, like on a farm in the middle of nowhere. He hadn't seen his brother in like 20 years. He reconnects with his brother, takes his family, they travel out to the middle of nowhere, to this little house in the middle of nowhere. They jump out the car, they run up, they see their brother, they hug, they embrace. The whole time this is going on, his brother's dog is sitting on the porch and he is crying, like howling. You know, you ever heard a dog cry? Like that's what he's doing. But his brother's not paying no attention. All right. So they like, all right, the brother ain't paying attention. I ain't paying attention. They go in the house. They walk right past the dog. The dog just howling, crying. Well, don't pay no attention to him. They go in the house. They fellowship. They eat. They catch up. Hours go by. The whole time, the dog is outside crying, like going crazy. Eventually, he asked his brother, he said, hey, yo, this is great for us to be meeting today, but dog, you got to tell me what's going on. What is wrong with your dog? He said, oh, that idiot? He just laying on the nail. He said, wait, this dog is out there crying and howling and it's just laying on a nail? He said, yeah. He said, why don't he get up off the nail? He said, I guess it don't hurt bad enough yet. So once it start hurting bad enough, he'll get up, he'll stop crying. Yeah. And he said, that's how most people are in life. Life is uncomfortable enough for you to cry about it. But it ain't uncomfortable enough for you to get up and do something about it yet. Right?
Yeah.
And so I believe everything is about mind frame. Once you figure out, why am I doing this? Again, go back to the beginning. Why? Why am I doing this? Why do I have to have this happen? Why is that important? You asked me that question earlier, right? Whenever I coach somebody and ask them, what's your why? They tell me, well, I just want to make some money. Okay, well, why do you want to make some money? Why is it important to make some money? Because if I can make some money, then I can, provide more for my family. Okay, why is it important to provide for your family? And it always 3-4 levels deep. Then they finally get to the reason why.
Yeah, really the real why. Reason. Yeah.
And once you figure that out, nothing to stop you. Right. And so if you're that person that's at home and you're thinking about this right now and you want to do something different, but you're not quite sure yet, or you're asking like, I don't know. Listen, especially if you're trying to do course careers, there's more than enough evidence out here that it's working. And if you don't look nowhere else, this is the last video you watch on it. I'm going to tell you right now who I am now, where I am now, the amount of peace that I have now compared to what I had last year, compared to what I had at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
My life is completely different. all because I made a decision to do something different. Right. And so at this point, there's enough evidence out here that this works. The only thing holding you back is you. And you got to figure out why you're holding yourself back. Because if we being honest, you asked this earlier, what did it feel like when I heard $450? It pissed me off that I didn't just have $450 laying around to do it.
Yep. I've been there.
Right.
Man.
When I wanted to do the other program that was $5,000, I'm like, yo, I don't have $5,000 to do it. And it pissed me off.
Yep.
I'm 40 years old. I've been working since I was 14 and I don't have $5,000 to sit around and do something I want to invest in myself in.
Yeah.
Like that's the type of stuff that you use to motivate, what I use to motivate me to get out of that. Look, bro, something got to change. It ain't going to change if I just sit here and keep talking about it. Right.
Yep. I agree.
Yep.
I agree. I felt that same feeling before. Y'all felt it before too.
Yeah. Some of y'all feeling it right now.
Feeling it right now. Even if it's $40 of groceries that you can't get. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I've been through there this year. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta, every day you have to keep that hope alive about where you want to be. What are you trying to do? You know what I'm saying? My whole goal coming into January was to get into cybersecurity, right? Or cloud this year. I'm not there yet. And I told myself, don't quit yet. You said till December. So keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get distracted. Let's go. Figure it out, right? So I'm still on my path, and like whoever's watching this, stay on your path. First of all, make a decision. Get into CourseCareers. Let's get going and stay on that path. And don't stop until you get it, right? Because we're gonna be.
You're gonna hurt is yourself.
Yeah.
If you watch my videos, I end every one of my videos with this saying: "Don't play me, pay me."
Don't play me, pay me. Cut the check. Cut the check.
You heard?
We're going to end it like that. We're going to end it like that. Man, Coach Dre, I mean, this has been fire. This has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. The comments better be live. They better stack up because you drop gems. Thank you for sharing your story. I know it's going to resonate with so many people, all the different parts of your story. So I appreciate you coming by, man. This is awesome. Thank you.
I thank you. I thank you for the platform. I'm super excited for what you're doing. You are making an impact.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
You are.
Thank you.
I'm honored to be on here and just to add my little sauce to whatever it is that you got going on. Because when this thing blows up, I'm gonna be able to say, yo, I was with Coach Ernie when she had less than 300 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, we had 245. We creeping up. Let's go. Listen, y'all better get on. Y'all better get on early.
Y'all better like, y'all better comment, y'all better subscribe, y'all better do all that good stuff.
Let's go. I love it. Listen, this has been awesome. Stats to assets, y'all. Turn your stats. If you're a basketball player, sports athlete, turn your stats into assets. That's what we're trying to do. If you are trying to get into tech, use your stats or whatever you have done in your previous life or work life. We're turning that into stats. Let's get the income. Let's start in tech, get your career, get your skills going. And we need to turn that into some assets, some real estate, some something. We're going to talk about that later. But listen, y'all. Listen, that's how I close it out. I love Martin. I'm going to see you when I see you. Peace.
Thank you. Peace, man.
Hey.